Accounting isn't black and white. What we do isn't just data entry. It's data analysis. It's money as a function over a period of time, and kind of understanding more intuitively that interplay between the two pieces. That can be a hard one to grasp. I started here in 2005. Again, it was back in the time of newspaper ads. I started as a staff accountant. For the first 60 days or so, I really struggled to put the pieces together of what I was doing with everything I had just gotten done learning in college. About that 60 days or so, it finally all clicked for me. And everything just kind of fell into place and started to make sense from there. So then everything was smooth sailing. Today with technology, we have lots of different modes of communication. So usually first thing is kind of come through and do a quick check overview on all of those, make sure I'm staying on top of everything that's happening, and just to make sure that I'm kind of keeping a pulse on where the clients are at. And then it's a lot of meetings with clients to just talk with them about their business and the questions and things that they have. For the size businesses that we work with, a lot of them they came from more of a technician, right, to being an entrepreneur. So they have a lot of questions and they don't always have someone to bounce those off of. And that can be their accountant, right? Especially when we have a relationship like we do, where it's more advisory. And so it's just, bouncing a lot of stuff off of them. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, is this a good idea? Some examples of questions that we get a lot are, does it make sense to lease versus buy a piece of equipment or a new vehicle? That's a pretty common one. We hear a lot about when does it make sense to hire another person? Questions that really more come to, they're looking for somebody to help them interpret what this means for them, right? You can read an article all day long, and that might give you something, but it doesn't. That's not somebody sitting next to you telling you how that's going to impact you. I mean, we work with a very broad swath, from something that's directly a professional service based, if it's something that's directly retail based, whether it's technology services. We've got auto repair. Some of the real DIYers start with kind of doing all their own accounting. Some of them even take that the next step and do their own tax filings, right, at the end of the year. There's other outside sources like 1-800-BENCH, where they can use some automation for their accounting platform. And then something more like where we fit in, right? And working with a firm to have a relationship and a service, right? To manage their accounting platform and work with them for tax strategy. Of course, what we do is we bring the kind of consulting or the advisory approach. Obviously, you're not going to get that from 1-800-BENCH or from TurboTax. My favorite kind of client is somebody who's looking for cooperation, right? Who's looking at it in terms of building a team, right? I put it to clients this way. I love what I do because I get to play pretend. I get to tell them what I think they should do, and then they have to go do the hard work, right? I can use my expertise on what kind of impact that's going to make for them financially, but then I don't have to do it. So they have to be willing to hear the feedback, and that's subject to interpretation, right? I don't know how to do their business, but I can tell them what they should be focusing on for financial impact. They have to go do the hard work. To get the most out of it, it's being open. It's being honest. I'm here to help you in your business, right? If you can't tell me what it is that you want to see, I can't really give you a whole lot of feedback on what you should do to achieve that. When somebody comes to me and says, hey, here's my business, I want to be there in 5 years. Okay, that's concrete. We can work towards that plan, right? We can take that from a dream and hope it happens overnight to make it a goal, right? How much do we got to put on the bottom line and sock away in the savings account after tax and everything to get you to that space? Accounting isn't black and white, right? There's a little bit more that goes into it. A lot of what I do when meeting with a client the first time is try and understand their risk tolerance. There's different people that want to run absolutely everything by the book, and there's other people who they're willing to gamble a little bit, and understanding where they fall can help how I interact with them and what kind of guidance I give. So clients that make a good fit for a monthly accounting service are coming in different varieties. As an entrepreneur, you wear a lot of hats. Sometimes you're ready to take one of those off, right? Need a little bit of help with some of the management of the monthly financial piece. Want some tax planning as part of it. Some businesses hit a growth plateau, right? How do I scale from just me and an assistant to something more? And having someone that can give you some financial insight to help make those judgment calls is a key point. I sometimes put it to our clients as, you're building your executive team, right? And I play a role in that capacity as, on the finance and accounting end. Some of the most rewarding parts is when I can help a client see the light, right? When I can take whatever I see in my head that sparked me and get them to see it from my perspective. Again, it's going to take a little bit of interpretation on their part, but when they realize what I saw and what the potential is from that perspective, something along those lines can be helping a client when they're getting ready for the sale of their business. It makes the most sense. We put all this sweat equity into what we're doing, and we want to see that big return. And sometimes that means facing hard questions that we didn't exactly. That's not how we ran our business for the first, however many years. But now it's time to, make that change now so that in 3-5 years when we sell it, we can see that greater value for it.